write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.
That was the great sounds of Wata with Outside on WNHH-LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, E.Z. BlueZ is in the building. Easy BlueZ, you are better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, I always say let's go on a journey, let's go on a trip, but this is something that's incredible. This next person has actually taken the whole idea of going on a trip first mentally from a young age, was able to take her imagination and take everyone through this incredible trip and mine through her stories. Then as she evolved, then she started to look inwards and take those stories and put them into almost like a self-help how-to. Now she's taking those next aspects to the next level and actually putting together spots where you can have some incredible life-changing adventures and trips through this person. Constantly evolving, constantly growing, whether it be through the culinary arts or whether it be through the pen, whether it be through booking an amazing reservation that could change your life and get your groove back. This person has been there and will be there. And it's something that I am very, very happy to have. We are blessed to have this person on air with us today. So I want you to put your hands together. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, you keep your hands at 10 and 2. Okay? We don't need any accidents. So mentally, put your hands together for the amazing Alexis Pettway. How are you? Thank you so much for being here.
Hi. Thank you. Hello, everyone. That was an amazing introduction, by the way.
We do homework. We try to do as much homework as humanly possible. Obviously, you sent us some information. You sent us some information to look you up, and it's been amazing. And we know much, but you at home right now, they might not know you as well like myself and Prestige. So let's give them that kind of look that went through, because your story is really, really, really interesting. You started writing books at elementary school. I mean, I know there's some people who became extremely, extremely successful that I went to school with, that during elementary school, their highest accomplishment was pulling out the entire hand when they glued it, and they could like pull off the glue and it'd be a whole hand. But you wrote 3 books. Like, what's going on? Like, you're just built different. Like, what has that adventure been like?
It's been amazing. I really am blessed to have discovered the gift of writing and the gift of poetry at a young age. I never accomplished getting the glue off with the full hand. That's the one thing I haven't accomplished. But writing, it just always came so naturally to me. And it's just been a progression ever since. And I have to thank, my family and the teachers in school for always encouraging and supporting me.
That is absolutely amazing. And as you continue to grow and progress through it, you've taken different avenues. Obviously, that's how every artist, grows and grows through. But what I'm really, really, really respect about it is every spot seems to be just the newest evolution of who you are and how genuine you are in the moment itself. Have you had to struggle with, we'll say, promoters or marketers trying to pigeonhole you into a particular style, genre, or, as we're going to get into later on into the interview, job and career?
There's very little. A lot of people I surround myself with. I'm a very strong-minded person. If I have an idea, if I want to do something, it's very little chance that someone can change my mind. They might give me a different perspective or a different way to go about it. But usually when I've made up my mind about something, I'm going to do it. I'll get input from people that, I trust, but I'm usually going to do it. But very little people, have said, just stick to this or, stick to that, don't kind of spread out. But the beauty about all the things that I do, for the most part, they're all intertwined and they're all interconnect. For example, I write wedding poems. I plan destination weddings. It goes together. I work weddings with food, doing catering. So it everything like I do, like you said, is an evolution of who I am, pretty much.
Well, and that's one of the things that I really, I'm glad that you jumped into it. We didn't have to like pry it out of you. You got right there, and that's awesome. Because we have noticed in doing this as long as we have, and also in just being as involved as we have been with different entertainment and business and stuff like that, it is truly the brands that are the most successful that are the most real. And when it's not like the real aspect or anything like that. It's very similar to like the pro wrestlers. The characters that truly got over was themselves just cranked up to 11. And we're seeing that a lot with like heartfelt catering and heartfelt eating. This is, his dream and who he is, and he puts that 100% on a plate and through this new business adventure that he's going through. And that is exactly what you're doing. And you're doing it. It just brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. Oh, better?
Yeah, a little better.
Okay. You're doing it throughout multi-facets. Like you're not just a one punch or a one note person. You're doing it in the creative aspect. You're doing it, in two forms of the creative aspect. So the culinary arts is a creative art as well. And then you're also doing it with the destination wedding aspects and different things like that. How did that transition happen? Or was it just like, I want to do all of these things and I'm not going to stop until I do all of these things?
Okay, so culinary, that's always been since I was younger. Culinary and writing since I was younger. I lived with my grandmother. My father was a professional chef. I spent many days in the kitchen with my grandmother. My aunt is also a professional chef. So I was surrounded by people in the culinary industry. And of course, I was obsessed with watching Emeril Lagasse and his BAM on the Food Network. And like you said, like it just progressed. In home ec, when I was in 7th grade, my home ec teacher, she told me about a school, Johnson & Wells. And I researched the school and I decided, okay, that's what I'm going to do. That's where I'm going to go. As far as writing, our school that I went to, my elementary school, we had a young authors competition. And that's how I started getting into writing. My first book in 1st grade was my first entry into that competition. And it's been a progression ever since. Travel came into play when I started traveling with my books to different states. And someone gave me the idea of being, a travel agent to get discounts. So I signed up with that in mind. But as I started like actually delving into travel and researching and started booking trips for people, I really turned it into a brand of its own that I have today.
Wow.
Okay. Hold on. I got to jump on. This is the point in time where I tell people to pull over to the side of the road, take out the pen and the piece of paper. For touring musicians, touring comedians, touring everything like that, you just gave like the biggest, the most amazing nugget of knowledge right there that I don't think anyone, like I've never even looked at that. And now I'm going to go through and become an actual, a touring agent. That's a really great idea, like a booking agent and different things like that. The tour aspect, because it makes it easier when you're planning out your tours and your different cities. That is amazing. And the fact that you were able to convert that into a business and a brand into itself, like super high five. I love that. That's amazing. All right, cool. I'm blown away. High five. There you go. Now, P, I didn't mean to steal your train of thought there. I had to really
honestly,
highlight that
you
real
didn't
quick.
steal my train of thought. I was trying to keep up with yours. You were just amazed by Alexis' thoughts. Everything was just coming in your brain, and I heard a million thoughts come out your mouth easy. So I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to keep up with you the whole entire time. Like I was watching your face on the screen, going back and forth. I think you're just amazed by just the information you just heard right now. So I was processing your brain.
It's super exciting because
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of taking hardships or negatives and turning them into positives. And that is right there. Like I I wish I was creative enough to come up with that idea as like an angle to pitch for a TV show.
Right.
You know, it's like it's so beautiful and so on point. And I really want to give you your flowers for that because that is truly maximizing every single aspect of what you do. And it's a lost art form. So like I'm completely huzzah.
Thank you. I have to give flowers to, you know, everyone that supported me and still supports me to the day. And a lot of it came from just nurturing from like a young age. A lot of it came from nurturing. So I'm blessed and appreciate to have, you know, nurturing family, nurturing friends. Even before I published my books, I would, you know, just write poetry and people would read it. And they're like, you need to publish your books, like friends and everybody, like you need to publish a book. So yes, I do have a creative mind. I'm blessed for that. But a lot of that and where I am today, I attribute to all the nurturing I got just from a young age, even till now.
Definitely.
That is such a beautiful point because, you know, it takes a lot to be vulnerable enough to be creative. And for those that really are, that can grow in that creativity, that means that they're feeling secure. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I try very hard with, you know, the children that I have at home to never be the first person to clip their wings. You know, you really have to continue to help push them, even if it's not something you necessarily could see or agree with. It's not your life anyway. So, you know, help them and help them grow. And if it pitters out, you just be there to be that support system. So huzzah to your support system. I'm giving them a high five as well. I'm thanking them for you because they brought you here and we get to meet the amazing person that you are. And this journey is incredible. And the other thing that I really love about it is kind of like that, the Goldberg machine, where everything that you have works itself into each other and they all interconnect and they all flow together. And that is something that really finding that balance in life is one of the most important things. Was that a conscious effort or did it just happen to fall into each other?
No, I think it just happened. We fell into each other naturally. My creative mind is always, and I'm sure you have this too, it's just always constantly working and coming up with things. So I didn't do it necessarily consciously, but unconsciously it all came together.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So now, of course, we have to ask the question that no creative, especially someone who's creative and doing multiple things. What's the favorite child? You know, let's get in there. These are hard-hitting questions. You know, what's the favorite child? The writing, the you know, or the culinary, or is it now what you're seeing with vacation planning and stuff? What one is the favorite child for this moment?
So I am booking more travel. That's at the forefront, but forever, poetry will be my first love, above everything. That's always my heart.
That's amazing. Now, who is the biggest influence poetry wise? Is there a particular, like, for those that are coming up right now, who was the poet that changed your life, and how can we research them?
Okay, so when I started writing, literally it sounds weird, but I'm gonna tell you a story how I wrote my first poem. Okay. I was in 7th grade. I was in, I think it was geometry class. I was not paying attention and I'm just gazing out the window at the weather, and it was raining. And I remembered my grandmother always saying, when it's raining, God's doing his work. So I wrote my first poem in that class called God's Work, and I did metaphors about the weather, whether it was raining, whether it was thundering, whether it was nice. I did a whole poem about metaphors about that. And that started my poetic journey from there. Really weird story, but I guess it was just my gift awakening at that point. So I started writing, and I feel like Maya Angelou was my biggest influence. I actually got to see her in Rhode Island while I was in college.
Oh, nice.
She just was amazing, amazing person, poet, everything, dancer. Um, she's like a creator after my own heart. Like, she wasn't just in one lane.
No, she definitely was a phenomenal vocalist as well. She's a great performer. And also, I mean, you know, to this day, those who do not truly understand the Maya Angelou quote is, you know, when someone tells you who they really are, believe them. That haunts my very soul every day. And that has now become, when I first meet new people, that has become my measure stick. I have to make sure that it checks off on my Angelou, quote. I was like, are you saying who you really are today right now? I'm not sure. So yeah, it's amazing, you know, and so important. I mean, I just rewatched Ali, and the first time that he winds up going to Africa and he winds up meeting Malcolm X in Africa. Malcolm X is hanging out and touring with Maya Angelou. You know, and I think that's incredible for people to know that this is the stuff that was happening at that time. All of these circles were running together, and you know, I say it all the time.
Amazing.
The times that arts thrives is when we thrive the highest as a society. You know, and that goes back all the way to the golden and the gilded age. And I think now, after this pandemic, and when people are starting to really focus more on their mental health, we're starting to see a renaissance now in the creative and in the independent when it comes down to businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that something that was a bump for you?
I said a lot. We're seeing a lot of that overflow.
Well, now, was that a hurdle for you, or was that a catapult for you? Because I've heard it done both from entrepreneurs, that it was both. At first, it was kind of like a hurdle and it was very difficult to get through, and then there were some that, you know, just it catapulted them into a next level. Where was that for you?
For me, it was a hurdle because travel has pretty much been my main focus in the last couple of years. So it was definitely a hurdle. But thank God I'm soaring today. You know, you gotta jump over the hurdles and keep going. So it was a hurdle, but I made it through, and I'm thriving right now. So I'm happy about that.
No, that's awesome. Now, during that time, did you take a little bit more time to focus more on the writing aspect, or was it just trying to figure out what the next evolution was going to be?
Both. So I did a lot. So actually in 2020, I released my third self-published book called Wedding Season Chronicles. And I actually hosted a bridal show as my book release during the pandemic. So that was pretty interesting. And also during that, I really honed in on my niche for travel. I really got in line my strategies, streamlining my business, my processes for travel, because I knew it was going to come back and come back strong. So I needed to be ready with my processes and streamline my business and my brand. It was really important for me to focus on exactly what I wanted my brand to be, so that I can put that message out on social media and my logo on my website. And I'm super happy that it does that now.
That's awesome. And for those that are coming through, you use some great buzzwords that I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper into. When you say streamlining your practice and streamlining your business, for the up and comer that's, you know, just has the idea, what is the process of streamlining?
The process of streamlining is, one, laying out your sales or your service process. That was something I hadn't done. So I literally had to write, all right, step one, where do people come from? How am I taking in their form? What's the next step that they go through, all the way to the end of them either booking a trip or not booking a trip? And in that process, I also had to add some automations to save me time so I can take more people. So what email can I automate to them? What programs or apps can I connect to talk to each other so I don't have to manually input someone's information in one place if I get it somewhere else? So it was a slow, busy time for me during the pandemic.
I'm going to use the term, and I'm going to mispronounce it, but
I'm not going to mispronounce this. WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. And continue, my friends.
It actually seems very similar to the prep form that you hear a lot in the culinary arts of meats and flops, where you're making sure before you go for your meal and before you're actually cooking the meal itself, you're setting up your workstation so that you can flow and make that meal, where you're maximizing the time to put the love into the meal itself. Yep. And I think that's awesome. That is, yeah. Woo, yay.
That word
I got one right
in my brain.
It should be, because it's important. And I think, honestly, we need to get to that as a society, really. Like, it needs to come out of the culinary arts aspect. And, more people need to say, yeah, I need to set it up like this. I have found taking just those extra moments and making sure, like, your shoes are pointed in this one direction saves you 30 seconds when you get out the door, or making sure you're putting your keys in the same spot every single night, every single day, so that you get up, you grab your keys, everything moves a lot further. Because I've searched 45 minutes to a half hour, for keys, and that was a half hour to 45 minutes I didn't have to lose,
Mm-hmm.
But having that streamlined aspect, that meets and plots working, and when you can apply it to your life itself, high five to everyone that can pull that off. I am not that person. I wish I was, but I'm not that good.
Culinary, being in the food industry, it definitely helped me with that. From I don't know if I mentioned, I went to Johnson & Wales University in Rhode Island. So that's why the mise en place is ingrained in my brain. And also, I've been working catering for the past 13 years, setting up buffets. So when we set up the buffet, every time it's like, what are they going to need first? So I'm actually practicing, streamlining in my business, at work, in all type of aspects of my life. And it just makes things flow, like you said, easier. So kudos to the food industry for teaching me that.
There you go. High five to the culinary arts. We love it. We love it. We love it. High fives. Now, as you continue to push through, and like you said, you released your last book in 2020. Has the bug caught again? Is there something in the works right now, or because of the industry in tourism and vacations are coming back in such force, are you just taking the time to focus on that right now?
Yeah, writing is like kind of in the back burner. Travel, I'm like super busy with travel. And going back to what you said, everything's evolution to me. I added last year a custom design travel accessory line to my travel business. So I'm actually working on the third collection for that to be released this spring or summer, on top of taking in travel clients and managing those bookings.
Okay, I need the details on this. What does that mean? Is this like carry-on bags, or like t-shirts? Is it like sarongs? Like, what's going on? Like, what is this? How can we get our hands on stuff like that? Tell us about this travel line now.
Okay. Yeah, so I started this travel line in 2021, or I started at the end of 2020. Like I said, it was a busy, slow year for me. I released it in 2021, and it's mainly bags the organized traveler, there's like beach bags, there's totes. This year we're introducing book bags and suitcases and fanny packs. My next collection is I'm gonna have some more things for the guys, because the first collection was mainly towards women, but I'm gonna add some pieces in there for the guys. I designed everything on there in the collection. So like you said, I'm a really creative person. I love getting in and designing and seeing all the different patterns. I can't help myself. But everything is online at my site, travelingstyles.com, with the Z.
That now, what sparked that aspect? Because you've explained kind of how everything has flown in together, and I love this newer aspect of it as well, because you're talking about things that a lot of people do take for granted when it comes down to their luggage and their baggage and stuff like that. And again, going back to the meets and plots aspect of it, the better packed you are, the more stuff you can fit. And if you have those times where you might happen to spill that Mai Tai on that wonderful blouse or shirt that you had, but thank goodness you had enough room to pack 3 other ones and they're not wrinkled. This is important things, because
if you're like on an excursion. If you're on excursion, you don't want a big pocketbook. So I have sling pocketbooks that you can take on excursion, or like when you're like in destination, something small so that you have your essentials. So this came about, one, because I carry a lot of bags when I travel. I have my suitcase, I have my carry-on, then I have the smaller bags when I'm out in the destination. And just being in the airport, everybody pretty much has like black and blue, brown bags. Like you'll see an occasional, design or something, but everyone has like the same kind of color scheme when it comes to their suitcases. So I really wanted these designs to be bold. Like you can spot, like that's my suitcase over there. It's green, yellow, neon. That's my suitcase, or that's my passport holder. I really wanted this to be bold, stand out for that traveler that's organized, but they still want to stand out and be fashionable. So the first collection is called Be Bold. And behind that is inspiring people to be bold in everything, just not in fashion, but in life and your decisions. If you want to travel, be bold in that. Just be bold in everything that you want to do.
That's awesome. Now, speaking to that being bold, all right?
Yep.
What's the perfect vacation? Like what is like the mecca of vacation? What is the perfect planning aspect? Have you thought of like the Big Bang kind of vacation spot? Like what does that look like for you?
For me, I like luxury. I love luxury. Anything that's luxury is my Big Bang vacation type of aspect. And that's actually what I specialize in, luxury travel. But for me currently, I actually was at an event a few days ago, and it was a resort group, and they introduced a brand new resort. And I'm actually going to see that in May or June, one of those. But this resort, they have all oceanfront suites. Every single room has their own private pool, every room. They have 24-hour butler service. You get transported in a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter to and from the airport. You get access to their 7 parks. They have this service where if you want a massage and you don't want to go to the spa, you call your butler. They will set up a room that's connected to your room, set it up as a spa. You'll go in that room, get your massage from the masseuse, and go right back into your room. And I'm like, that's just like, to me, those VIP touches, like that's the mecca for me.
No, that's incredible, because again, it really does feed into that self-care. We are constantly, especially being citizens of the United States of America, where everything is running on 40 plus hours a week type of mindset. We don't afford ourselves the same breaks that, say, our European brothers and sisters allow themselves, where they get those 2 months off and they can go on family vacations. If we get a week or two off, it's a good thing, and you spend the first week repairing all the stuff you couldn't repair in your house before, and then you need a vacation on top of that. And then when you get back, because you had to do everything in one type of cycle, you need a vacation from your vacation. And just when you finally come down and you've relaxed, you got to go to work the next day.
It's a vicious cycle.
But what you're saying here is these are the luxury aspects are allowing you to take care of yourself. We talk about it. Well, we talk about it all the time. We are so quick to invest in other people's dreams. We are so quick to make ourselves feel better from a status point of view, invest in like Jordans. But when we start to take that $250 and invest it in ourselves, and invest it in our own growth and our own healing, it is a beautiful thing. And I love that. That is really what you do. And then you could sell that also from the writings and stuff like that as well. Self-care is a beautiful thing for you.
Especially me, like being in the food industry for like so long, it's service based. So I'm always serving, I'm serving someone. And so when I go on vacation, I like to be the one, wine and dine and serve. It's kind of like a role reversal. I want to experience what I'm kind of essentially giving out on like a daily basis.
That is awesome. And do you feel that though? And do you feel that allows you to give more in your careers as well? Because you are getting it back. Do you feel that you are now balanced enough to give more forward?
Absolutely. I feel like you always have to refill yourself because if you are empty, you're going to put nothing into everything else. If you don't have, yourself filled, how are you going to fulfill anything else in your career, in life, and business? So yeah, it's always important for me to take that time to refill, restore, whether it's relaxing or going out on an adventure. It's just that time for self-care and taking care of myself and having those experiences that you don't have often or every day.
That's awesome. I'm so happy right now. I love when people actually are open enough to share these kind of things. We also spend a lot of time in our society holding everything so close to our chest, because it's not quite there yet, or it's not there to show. So when incredible people like yourself come on our show and really show us who you are and show us all your cards, it is such a beautiful thing to see. And it's also incredible. Your point of view is so needed, and this is coming from someone who, like, for me, a luxury thing, I'm a bare minimalist. I think that those things are completely for who they are. They're for who they are. But you made me understand it. Like, before, I thought it was just something, so other people could feel better then. And in this conversation, you have actually made me understand that it is allowing for the yin and the yang aspect of it, so that you can then be better moving forward. And I think so thank you for changing my point of view. I really, really appreciate that.
You're welcome. And a lot of people think they have to have a lot of money for luxury. And I'll give an example. I have a client, she doesn't make like, 100, 200,000 a year. But she will save up her money because it's something that she invests in for her self-care and for her family to experience. So she'll go on 2-3 vacations a year, but she makes it a priority because that's her self-care. She wants to get away. She wants to reward her family with those experiences, her kids with those experiences. So luxury is not like a long, far reach from, a regular person. It just has to be something that you prioritize and want to experience for yourself.
That is awesome. I'm just going to pitch this out here for a title. All right, prioritizing self. You know, the luxury of the luxury of healing. I'm just saying, maybe that's the next book. You know,
I like it.
put
I
it out
like
there.
it.
Put it out there. I'm an idea
I
guy.
like
That's what I
it.
do.
You only live once, so you know it's better to experience things than to just have things.
I 1,000,000% agree. That is so cool. I say it all the time. You know, if you look on like a tombstone, you have dates. You just have these 2 dates. But what's more important is the dash between those dates, because that's the actual life you live. And I want my dash to be as interesting as humanly possible. And I hope everyone else does as well. And
Me too.
It's awesome. Now, as you know, we are getting into more of the vacation season, coming up into the nicer time of year, where there's a lot more hustle and bustle, and plus schools are going to be, you know, coming to an end, and different things like that. Are you really buckling down for this next wave, or are you already planning for your next luxury adventure yourself?
So right now, so actually I had like a huge wave in January and February. And so I'm actually not accepting vacations at the moment, because I'm only one person. I do travel part-time, and I want to make sure that I'm servicing my clients, like giving them a quality service and not overwhelming myself just because, you know, it's more money. So I always try to prioritize that. But I'm actually onboarding someone next week so that I can open up my bookings and take more clients. I actually have a wait list that's slowly growing. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm excited about that. But I am getting ready for the next wave, because for me, wedding season starts. So I'm gonna have trips here, but I'm also gonna be working weddings. And wedding season, I'm pretty much like, I'm like this on the weekends during the whole summer. So I'm getting ready for the next wave and plus wedding season. And I'm also getting ready for my trip. So I had an idea maybe a couple of years ago. I wanted to do a vacation with entrepreneurs. So this idea was spinning. I just had it. And last year it actually became reality. So it was 8-9 of us. We traveled to Phoenix, Arizona, stay in this beautiful resort. Because when you traveling with me, you're gonna be in a nice luxury resort. So we stayed at a beautiful resort. We had 2 days of workshops, and then the resort had a whole water park that we, you know, lounged in, had fun in. We had a meet and greet. We had a farewell dinner. We saw some other parts of Phoenix, and it was just an amazing time. There were people there from New Jersey, North Carolina, Chicago. And so they connected, which was amazing. Actually, 2 of the people that came, I never met them in person before. That was my first time meeting them. So it was an amazing thing. So I'm getting ready for the 2nd annual Entrepreneur Vacay in September. So that's a lot to get ready for. So I'm excited though.
Now, again, idea guy here. Not to ruin, you know, the enjoyment aspect of it, but are you going to have like some people with phones coming around and like documenting the type of aspects and you know, doing a whole, because I could see an amazing social media campaign out of that weekend, where you're looking about, I would say 70 to 80 you know, 15-minute clips, 15-second clips that can be pushed through, that could literally go for about 6 months worth of promo just out of that. But again, crazy. I'm gonna, you know, once the idea wheel starts spinning, you know, because that is really key. And especially like you stated, you know, you go live and, you know, those different type of aspects in social media. Social media has become a very prominent marketing tool for the entrepreneur and for the entrepreneur on the come up, because you don't have to spend a whole lot of money for a billboard if you're willing to put your face on camera and, share a bit of what you're going through and how you do that.
Just like we're doing right now on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. We got Alexis Pettway, not Pettway, Pettway here on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. EZ BlueZ, go right ahead.
So and this is the perfect last segment of the day, because we're going to build up to it.
Right.
Social media being so important. What is your advice for the up and coming entrepreneur that is really just starting out? Because I've heard 1.5 million different ways, and I kind of want to bounce some things off of you as we continue on the segment.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I am still learning like the balance between having businesses and creating content for social media. Like it's really for me a learning curve of balancing both of those. Like I'm servicing clients over here, I'm working full time, and then I have to create content on top of that. I've been blessed this year for my travel business. I haven't had to do a lot of marketing because of referrals. So that's one thing I would advise is to get those referrals, because they keep coming and coming and coming. I haven't had time to market because I am getting those referrals and repeat clients. So I feel like if you have a service-based business, make sure that your service is on point, so that 1, you attract your initial clients, and 2, they refer people, and 3, they keep coming back.
That is really on point, because you really do. Referrals are incredible, and they do say, it's that 1 in 10 aspect. That one person who is grumpy will tell 10 people, and then those 10 people will tell 10 people, and they'll continue to go through. But on the other side of that one person that is truly feels like they're cared for, they're going to tell 10 people, and those 10 people are going to tell those 10 people. And in the ratio aspect of it, from a sales point of view, at least one of those second 10 is going to work with you moving forward. And that is really how you build it up through relationships and positive relationships. Yeah. So more power on that. But we want to get into the social media aspect of it a little bit too, because I'm on this roll now. Content creation it's a beautiful thing. It's also a horrible curse, and it can completely suck your soul out. I mean, I've done so many lip syncing to horrible 80s tunes that my TikTok looks ridiculous. Yeah, it's true. I'm real about it. It is what it is. But it also gives you these incredible aspects to show up in people's feeds, or show up in people's thought process, for not just the brand in which you're pushing, but for every single aspect of what you're doing. And I do feel personally that you moving forward and going on your own adventures, and showing people the adventures you go on yourself, like that thing you're doing in June, going through that process and taking some content from that, and again, just sitting there of your average day. This is what I woke up to this morning, and showing everyone that aspect. This can be your life too. That is something that would really do incredibly well for your brand. And we'll talk off air. You're part of the family now.
I got you.
You're part of the family now. So we grow together. That's just the way that this works here. But yeah, I really do think that is an incredible mark for you. And again, your story itself is, I hate sounding like this because I come off very corporatist, but your story itself is very marketable. And it is a story that is unique, and it is a story that is real. And it is a story that needs to be told and needs to be understood. So whether you write a bunch of different books, or you now just kind of like categorize, and they say it's something as easy as doing, 5 1-minute clips a day. Not all of them have to be knock it out the park incredible, but as long as you're being consistent with your content, people will continue to go through. And to the point where you can be putting 5 things up there a day, and then have 2 days where you're not feeling it, and you don't put anything up, and people will hit your inbox. Are you okay? And that's how you kind of know that you've started to make a little bit of a difference and a little bit of a leeway through there. And I think for like what you're doing and how you already incorporate your entire life into what you do in every single facet, I think it is a perfect fit, because you should not be, worrying about having a big clown walk through or something like that. The simple aspect of you talking to one of your clients and helping them plan their great adventure is content enough to move forward. So please don't ever look at anything that you do as not good enough for content, because you yourself are that brand. And your content, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, the Apollo curtain is getting pulled close on us, and we're finally getting there. But since we have been talking about the social media and different things like that, we want to give you some time. That's just your time moving in. And I want you to tell the people how they can get in contact with you, whether it is to purchase your books, whether it is to schedule a wedding, whether it is to try some of your amazing cooking, or whether it is to plan that destination amazing adventure. How can we best support you?
Yes. Okay. So I am all over social media, Google, the web. So for travel, on Instagram, I am at AP Travel Services. My travel accessory line on Instagram is at Traveling Styles, STYLEZ. And you can follow my personal brand on Instagram at _Alexis Pettway. On Facebook, my travel will be the same, AP Travel Services. The travel line will be the same, Traveling Styles. I try to keep everything, streamlined. If you want to plan a luxury Caribbean vacation, visit my website, aptravelservices.com. I will be opening up new vacations within the next 2 weeks. If you want to check out my travel line and purchase a few bags, you can shop at travelingstyles.com. If you are a poet or avid reader, or if you have an occasion coming up where you want a custom poem written for you, you can visit apoeticauthor.com.
Nice.
Now, have you had, like, what is the most original moment that you've had to write a poem for? Like, what is the most original that you can share on terrestrial radio? Because we know some people, and hey, more power to them, but it is terrestrial radio. But what is that moment that either one truly took your breath away, or that will sit with you forever?
Okay, so I had a mother of the bride. She ordered a custom poem to gift to her daughter and her future son-in-law. I never met the son-in-law. I knew the daughter and the mom. And so she kind of gave me a scripture to go off of and gave me some details. So I wrote the poem, I framed it, gave it to her. And I saw her a couple of weeks later, and she said she gave it to them at their engagement party. And she said the groom, he was crying and said that, he wants that poem written on his tombstone. And I was just shocked, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, really?
Oh.
And I met him maybe like a year later, and his wife introduced him to me, and he gave me a hug. He was like, oh my gosh, like, how did you write that poem? And you never even met me. I was pretty blown away by that. That was a moment.
That is an absolutely beautiful moment, and that sounds absolutely incredible. Now, I know, Prestige, you want to ask that amazing question you always ask at the end of all of these wonderful things about the advice?
What would you say to young women of color who want to be in the path you want to be on?
I would say to them, one, be bold in what you want to do. If you know what you want to do, you have this vision. Not everybody will understand it or get it, because it's your vision, and you go after your vision, because that's yours. It's no one else's. You go after your vision.
Do it. Blunt, and honest. That's how I like it. Thank you, Alexis, for being part of it, behind the brand on WNHH LP. Absolutely. 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, EZ Lewis.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Spending time all alone, sending my songs to the phone, dreaming of a better home while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the brujas let this last.
I don't know if the earth is painted blue. I don't know if that's really you. I wanna go outside. I wanna go outside.
So many folks I've had to ghost. Negative ones the most. The seconds wasted. Never returned. I'm spaceship dreaming of landing home. I'm not alone.
Even though we all die, the one thing I fear is time. The seconds. I wanna go out.